concerned about Jordan Addison? All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and it's early, very, very early, very, very, very early. But should we be mildly concerned about Jordan Addison not doing anything?
And before we talk about how mildly concerned we are with Jordan Addison, I'm mildly concerned that we don't have more YouTube members. So get on there. If you are a Patreon member, switch that thing over, become a YouTube member. Why? You get drawing from Onebar and Lupagus swag, get exclusive content, and you just feel good supporting the show.
Yeah, let's show our beautiful supporters. You don't have to be a former Patreon to join, just to be clear.
No, you don't.
You can just join.
If you were, though.
Yeah, if you were, come on over. You're all our wonderful members. Greatly appreciated. Yeah.
One of my favorites is generic name.
Generic name. Lupagus used to wear a bunch of generic jeans in high school.
Yeah, because my parents spent all the money on my brother. He got Gerbos. I had to wear Arizonas. Don't get me started.
I don't even know if you had Arizonas. They had no label. I don't even think Lupagus had those pants that didn't have the back pockets. Tough to look at. Very tough to look at. Just pure denim. Pure denim. Well, front pockets, no zippers.
Those are girls' pants. Those are what girls wore.
They were denim sweatpants. That's what Lupagus wore. So hit that YouTube member. But Jordan Addison did not partake there in the mandatory mini camp. Being very safe with him.
I believe he sat out a portion of the voluntary camp as well. Right. I think here's the thing, and I think this is what heightens any concern, is that we went through this last year with Lewisine, Andrew Booth, our top two picks. Same situation, missing practice, and it carried on into the season. Yes, Lewisine, freak thing with a broken leg, but we just went through this, and I think that's what it makes everybody a little more anxious.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, like the voluntary where they came, he was ready to go. So something must have happened there. Like I think something actually happened during that. It's not like they knew this was lingering.
Well, they just said you're gonna bring him along slowly. I don't think anybody really saw that it meant he wasn't gonna get on the field.
No, I'm just saying, like, he was ready to go. Like, he got injured during that time. Like, this isn't an injury that they've known about, is it?
I think it was something that came. I thought he tweaked something during the voluntary ones. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a new injury. This isn't something that they knew when they drafted him. They're gonna have to bring him along. No. This is something new. So that gets me a little concerned. Kevin O'Connell coming out and quoting, that they've had a plan in place for him. He's been in the building. He's in the meetings. He's ahead of the game when it comes. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's saying all the right stuff. A lot of fluffy stuff. His expectation. This is what I don't like. He says his expectation is that he will be full when we get going in the late July for training camp. I don't want to hear expectation. I want to hear, we know he's going to be ready to go. He's ready right now. We're just being safe. That's what I wanted him to say.
Well, and you hate the fact that they're not getting, and it's great. You're still in the system. You're in the meetings. You're doing all the book work. But being on the field is a whole nother story. Creating rapport with Kirk Cousins, with Nick Mullins, with your other receivers, just being in there, working the defense. It's just reps. It's all about reps. And losing all that is huge. And I don't care if you're studying and you're in the meetings and you're doing all that stuff. Being on the field is key, especially for a young rookie, a guy you're expecting. What did Kevin O'Connell say when he was drafted? Day one starter, day one starter, day one starter. To be a day one starter, you need to be on the field, getting every single rep you can in all these voluntary, mandatory camps and in training camps. So it is definitely concerning.
Well, and wide receiver is such an important position to get out there early and often because that's usually one of the longest transitions. We've been very lucky with the Justin Jefferson and other receivers that we've drafted. That's not the norm. I mean, usually it takes a couple of years for these receivers to really get in the swing of things. So when it comes to positions to be out there for these types of things, wide receiver, cornerback, those are the most important ones. And he's missing some valuable time. As far as concern level, I mean, what are you concerned? Before you give me your answer, I did a poll on the page, and a lot of votes came in, and it was pretty close. 43% are concerned, 57% are not concerned.
Yeah. Before I answer that, I think another thing to point out here is just on a personal level. I mean, as far as Addison wanting to be the starter opposite Justin Jefferson, I mean, KJ Osborne is stepping up and playing very well, making plays, and also being a leader. I mean, we have reports that he's taken on a leadership role. He has been the veteran on the offense, really, who's kind of helped these young guys along. So KJ Osborne's taking the steps in the right spot to be number two. And Jordan Addison is, he's falling behind. So he's got to gain a lot of ground just to be, we're not even talking about getting on the field, but to be the starter like everybody expected him to be.
KJ Osborne is going to make himself some cheddar next year. Some cheddar. But let's go. Concern level.
Yeah. Your question. So I'm more concerned than I'm not. But it's very close. The fact that we just did this with 2 rookies last year makes me a little bit unsettled, which tips me toward concern. So I'm going to go 51% concerned, just a little bit over half. I just don't like it. I don't want to do this again.
What when you have a milk in your fridge and it's the day of the expiration date, are you concerned?
A little bit. I still drink it, but I'm a little concerned. I might get the shits.
If it's the date of the, I don't care if it's just the sell by date.
Did you see the fact I just dropped a couple episodes ago?
Dump it out. You don't drink that shit. I don't care.
No, it just means it may not be top quality. It's still safe to eat.
Here's what my concern is. Here's my concern. Long term, I think Jordan Addison is going to pan out just fine. There's no concerns with him. Like my expectations for Addison are a very good number 2 receiver in the league. That's my expectations, and I think that will happen. My concern is that he gets slow out of the gate. KJ Osborne's the number 2, and it's week 5, and Addison's still like bouncing around from the number 3, and he's getting 3 catches a week, 4 catches a week, and everybody starts bitching and pissing and moaning that he's not getting 10 catches, 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, that's my concern. I think short term, this might bite him a little bit. But, like, my concern is just how everybody's going to go crazy and be like, he sucks. He's a bust. He's just like Scene. Kwesi can't draft. We got to give this dude time. We cannot jump all over him, especially if he's injured. That's my concern.
I feel like this is very much directed at Patrick Harms.
No, it's not. It's directed at everybody just giving shit to Lewis Scene. It's everybody who just looks at we get Justin Jefferson, and that is not the norm. Everybody's expecting to see Jordan Addison come out and have 1,200 yards. They are.
Yeah. And I think, again, Kevin O'Connell saying what he said on draft night it only puts fuel on that fire. So everybody that has super high expectations for him, super high, stat lines. We'll see what happens with fantasy, where he's drafted, where he goes. But yeah, I think this really does. If you're going to say concern for year one, I actually think this hurts him even being the Vikings' best and most productive rookie. I think this, it's probably going to be Mekhi Blackmon at this place. Because I do think his role is going to be diminished. And I think, like you said, week 5, week 6, 3 catches, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown at that point.
Really good one.
That might be what we should expect, because being injured and missing these reps is key, and it's going to hurt him.
I think, like, my expectations for Jordan Addison coming, like, if he's healthy and he's able to play week 1, if he gets more than 50 catches, 750 yards, and 5 touchdowns, I'm ecstatic. Yeah. Like, that's my expectations for this guy. I think Osborne is going to be a much bigger part of it. And if those are his benchmarks and it's above it, like, hell yes, let's go.
Yeah. I think that's a fair line. It's a very fair line you dropped there.
I tried to be fair, but as far as concern level, I'm not concerned. I just the way O'Connell worded that is like, we expect him to be ready for July. I don't know.
Well, and let's give it, if this comes back to the first couple of days of training camp and it's the same story, then I'm concerned. If it's been almost a full, month and a half and he's still not out there on the field, then it will go way up my concern level.
And remember, this mandatory minicamp was only like 2 days. So it's not like it was a week and a half and he was just out the whole time. So it does make sense. Hopefully they're just being very, very cautious with old Jordan, because we got high expectations for this guy down the road.
Just like I was very cautious with you and you had that terrible, terrible bellyache.
Thank you.
Stuff was coming out every orifice.
I appreciate that. And don't drink milk if it's the expiration date. Just dump it out.
You're fine. You're fine. You got a good 3 days after that. Smell it first. Always smell it first. Remember that.
I've seen you eat raw chicken.
I saw you eat raw bacon.
Raw bacon is much safer than raw chicken.
I don't think so.
No, it is.
Not what you did. Not what you did with it. It's horrifying where you
Let
put
us know
that
if you are concerned about Jordan Addison. Hit up that YouTube membership. We'll be back. I'm sure we'll be back over the weekend. We'll see.
And remember this. Koalas in Australia are in danger of becoming extinct. Why, do you ask? Because over half of them have chlamydia.